Welcome to Dar Headlines. I'm Li Wei Tai. Thank you for joining us. In today's lineup, nearly a month after Australia's massive flooding, Brisbane is well on its way to recovery thanks to its powerful volunteer force. In Jordan, where rising prices and unemployment have caused social unrest, Tzu Chi carries out aid distributions for the poor to help them through the hard times. And taking social responsibility one step further, a water purification company in Taiwan is paying its employees to volunteer as part of their work at a home for children with disabilities. First up in the show, the Tondo area of Manila in the Philippines suffered yet another fire, which this time affected over 100 households. Families who were left with nothing could only scratch through the ashes for things that could be sold for money to buy food. When Tzu Chi learned of the incident, volunteers arrived at the scene of the fire to assess the needs of the victims and find out exactly how many households were affected so they could distribute appropriate aid.
It is easy to become indifferent about the seemingly endless stream of fires in the Philippines, but after each blaze, the same distraught expressions can be seen as shocked families search through the ashes of their homes.
We're clueless on how to start anew. It's back to zero again. It's really hard for us. Right now, we're just collecting metal scraps to sell to junk shops, to have something to buy food.
At this low point, the victims are surprised by the arrival of a helping hand.
Po kayo mapapaglagakan muna ng inyong mga anak.
Salamat, kami Pilipino.
Though we're Filipinos and you're Chinese, your compassionate hearts remain with us who need it most, especially during these times. Thank you very much, Tzu Chi Foundation.
Tzu Chi Foundation.
Everything starts from small things. Even the fire that just happened, it started from a small cause. That's why we have to be cautious from the very least things.
As well as handing out helpful advice, the volunteers deliver desperately needed aid to the 120 households hit by this latest blaze here in the Tondo area of Manila.
I'm very happy for the aid. I cried out of happiness because all of our belongings were gone or were burned. I'm happy because despite the religious differences, we both have compassion for one another. I gave help by donating coins to benefit others.
As a way to help, we will start collecting plastic bottles to be able to help others through the Tzu Chi Foundation.
After picking up their material aid and emotional support, some of the victims make donations, while others promise to collect recyclables for Tzu Chi to help other people in even greater need.
The cycle of love has definitely been initiated in the fire-affected Filipino community. The same kind of camaraderie can also be seen in Australia that was hit by devastating floods last month. In the wake of the disaster, Dar TV sent a news team to the inundated city of Brisbane to get a better understanding of how residents are working together with the government to expedite the flood recovery process. 1 month after the widespread deluge, Brisbane's famed South Bank Riverside Park is still fenced off in some areas for reconstruction, while throughout the city, places below ground level are still waiting to be cleared of mud and water. Other than that, life seems to have returned to normal for the city and its residents, as we shall see in the next report. Flood damage was greatly minimized thanks to the combined efforts of the local Red Cross, Salvation Army, the Brisbane State Emergency Service, as well as volunteers from near and far. Less than a month after the devastating flood, Australia's third largest city, Brisbane, seems to have regained its liveliness as it basks in the bright, reassuring sunshine. Following the Queensland's flood, Brisbane's most popular riverside park, South Bank, has been sealed off for reconstruction that might take anywhere from 3 months to 2 years. Local residents wistfully recall the great times they had by the river before the waters came.
It was good times coming down here with the beach and the sand and the kids playing and all the families coming out, having lunch and stuff. It's just, can't believe how much it's changed. Yeah.
The deluge not only damaged South Bank's river walk, but also the piers, thus putting all ferry rides to a halt. The flood also capsized the boat parked by the Queensland Maritime Museum.
Probably around the $2-3 billion, but that is still being calculated. And many insurance companies, particularly relating to business and residential properties, are still assessing the real cost.
Even though the deadly flood caused a colossal loss of around $3 billion Australian dollars, Brisbane was back on its feet in less than a month thanks to a massive army of volunteers.
Over 25,000 people registered to volunteer, and even more than that just turned up and helped. Organisations like Zuchi gave tremendous support at the recovery centres.
Immediately after the flooding, more than 10,000 volunteers were mobilised to help with the relief work. Within a week, most of the inundated areas in Brisbane were cleaned up. The key lies in regular disaster drills.
Every 2 months, we as a group work through what we would do in the event of a disaster. It could be a terrorist attack, it could be a cyclonic event.
The speed and efficiency with which the Australian government evacuated flood victims deeply impressed the staff at the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office in Brisbane.
Disaster area.
Once the state premier declares the region a disaster area, police officers and aid workers have the authority to tell people where to go and what to do.
The emergency drills, well-organized disaster evacuation, and instant mobilization of volunteers ensure that the recovery process can begin immediately in the aftermath of any disaster. The flood relief efforts are paying off as Brisbane strides confidently along the road to recovery. Political unrest and inflation around the world are putting a further strain on the lives of millions of people who are already struggling. In Jordan, thousands came together in protest on the streets last month. Despite the rising cost of consumer goods, city volunteers there still managed to hold winter distributions for the poor nomadic Bedouins, handing out food, medicine, and other daily necessities of the best quality. The caregivers also showed local residents recycling techniques so they can help take care of the planet.
As the strong wind continues to blow through the wild desert, the figures of these little Jordanian children seem significantly small in comparison. Unwilling to see the Bedouins suffer, for the past 10 years, city volunteers have been around the Arabian nation to extend a helping hand to the needy. Volunteers arrive in Wadi Fanan and other areas of southern Jordan to hand out aid packages and relief items, including rice, sugar, and broad beans. Though the price of these items has at least tripled, volunteers insist on providing the best quality they can find. Kneeling down to make sure each child finds their suitable pair of shoes, volunteers also hand out school bags to encourage the children to continue their education. In the north of Amman, the capital city, rich and poor districts are ironically situated directly opposite each other. Here, lollipops are an expensive luxury most children dare not ask for. Noticing that the children have scalp ringworm, volunteers thoughtfully included medication in the aid packages. The recent inflation is putting a further strain on the already struggling residents. Here at a winter aid distribution, city's relief items help take the pressure off their shoulders. Volunteers also do not forget to teach people about conservation work. Come the year-end blessing ceremony, volunteers all pray together for peace.
We need to work towards purifying human minds, bring peace to society and pray for no disasters in the world. These are the wishes of all Tzu Chi people. We need more living bodhisattvas to contribute together. Just then the Master said, if we can all give a little of ourselves, the power of unity will be incredible.
With the candles in their hands, volunteers' determination to help the needy is indeed strengthened.
In our next report today, we go to Johannesburg in South Africa, where Tzu Chi volunteers held a blessing ceremony to bid farewell to the old lunar year. The event was attended by members of the overseas Chinese community and local Zulu volunteers. Participants brought along their full coin banks, hoping that the money they collected over the last year will be used to benefit those in the forgotten corners of society.
Here at a year-end blessing ceremony in Johannesburg, South Africa, members of the Taiwanese communities are bringing back their filled coin banks to be used as donations. Despite facing poverty, Zulu tribe volunteers also donate what they can. The blessing ceremony helps gather the heart and attention of those present. Tzu Chi volunteers also use the occasion to show the importance of conservation work through a short skit. Master Zheng Yan's blessing and wisdom red envelope is also an important part of the ceremony. With the Master's blessing in hand, all are reminded to cultivate their spiritual wealth. A long-term supporter of Tzu Chi, Zhuo Mingde has donated a whole container of pots and shoes for distributions. The kind-hearted man says he wants to make friends with the Buddha. Today, Zhuo is receiving his honorary board certification.
I wish you all good fortune and peace.
I think there are two most fortunate things we have here in South Africa. One being our Tzu Chi Foundation, which provides a platform for everyone to do charity work.
Tzu Chi's charity work would not have been possible without the support of its volunteers and members. Director Si Hongqi shares the good news with the audience.
Thanks to the generous donations of all our brothers and sisters, we were able to purchase this land without any difficulty.
By working hand in hand, volunteers hope to build a Tzu Chi home and have already drawn up a detailed plan. Through praying together in harmony, all hope to bring love and peace to this land.
On this day, the 14th of February, Scottish inventor Alexander Graham Bell's research on hearing and speech helped him file a telephone patent application with the US Patent Office on this day in 1876. He would be granted the patent on March 7th of the same year. Transmitting intelligible speech electronically would revolutionize the way humans communicate. In the 1970s, to help fund its 10 major construction projects and encourage people to save, Taiwan's government issued national savings bonds with the chance of winning a jackpot and the guaranteed full return on your deposit at the end of the duration. The advent of the underground lottery in the 80s would mean the end of the bonds on this day in 1988. Members of Tzu Chi International Medical Association in central Taiwan began holding free clinics in remote areas of Jiayi County in 1997. In 1998, the service extended to include Nantou County. After the 9/21 earthquake of 1999, a medical station was established in Zhongliao Township. On this day in 2000, Tima took their free clinics to the indigenous Zhou people living on Ali Mountain.
In the mountains of Taichung County in central Taiwan, Xu Jiazhou and his younger sister, Xu Peihua, who were both mentally challenged, lost their father to cancer many years ago. Their mother also succumbed to cancer 2 years ago, leaving the siblings with no one to take care of them. Thankfully, Tzu Chi volunteers stepped in to help the brother and sister learn to look after themselves. Now the two are active members of Tzu Chi.
Riding her bicycle through the Xinshe Mountains of Taichung in central Taiwan, Xu Peihua picks up litter as she pedals. Putting cans, bottles and paper into her basket, she also stops by local stores to collect boxes and bottles. Before she became an environmental volunteer a year ago, mentally challenged Xu Peihua didn't like going out of the house on her own or talking to neighbours.
Before she wouldn't greet people, but now she says hello and greets the elderly. When she comes here, she says, "Boss, I want to buy something." She's gotten really smart.
Her bicycle loaded with recyclables, Xu Peihua slowly rides home. The front porch is a collection point where Tzu Chi volunteers help Xu Peihua sort recyclables.
I encouraged her to recycle because it could give her a bit of pocket money and help other people too. She took my advice and now she recycles very well and gives some of the money to Tzu Chi.
Xu Peihua gives half what she earns from recyclables to Tzu Chi.
Peihua, you get help from Tzu Chi, so you also want to help people. Isn't that right?
Although unable to express herself, Xu Peihua is very capable.
Many years ago, her dad died of liver cancer, and her mother died 2 years ago of cancer of the pancreas. The brother and younger sister are both mentally challenged. After her mother died, the young girl didn't know how to take care of herself or survive on her own.
Xu Peihua and her older brother were unable to tend their 2-hectare orchard left by their father, so Tzu Chi volunteers taught them how to grow fruit. This year, Xu Peihua shows the volunteers around the plum trees.
Our Peihua is very kind. She donated a branch of plum blossom to decorate our Jinsi Hall. We're very grateful to Peihua.
At a concert at the Jingsi Hall in Fengyuan, Xu Peihua and her older brother, Xu Jiazhou, also donate the collection they have been saving up for Tzu Chi over the last year.
The Dai TV and Tzu Chi volunteers helped us get through hard times. Thank you.
In the big Tzu Chi family, the siblings are learning how to take care of themselves and reach out a helping hand to others in need.
Still in Taichung, more than a year ago, Tzu Chi volunteer Lin Fengshou was diagnosed with a breast lesion. Her condition made her even more aware of the passing of time and the importance of devoting herself to meaningful altruistic pastimes. Serving her community with even more vigor, Lin assembled a team of neighbors to help sweep up the streets twice a month.
Xiehe Borough in Taichung, Taiwan has a team of community volunteers who regularly sweep up the streets. They are coordinated by Tzu Chi volunteer Lin Fengshou.
The master always urges us to recruit more volunteers from the community. Right now, the neighborhood can do with some beautification.
Lin Fengshou assembled a team of nearly 50 community residents last May to help clean up their neighborhood twice a month, keeping the environment litter-free.
Serving with a team of volunteers is a form of exercising.
Sister Fengshou is very enthusiastic about community service. She is truly worthy of praise.
Suffering from a breast lesion, Lin Fengshou needs regular checkups to keep tabs on her illness, which has made her treasure her time to volunteer even more.
明天先到，或是
No one knows what will happen tomorrow. I have a breast lesion, so I want to make use of my time and devote myself to service work.
我一定要把握时间。
Feng So volunteers for Tzu Chi and is very serious about it. I want to be just like her. Everyone is so happily devoted to the work.
Doing as much as she can while she can, Lin Feng Shou has rallied many like-minded people to bring love into their community.
Around about a year and a half ago, a water purification company in central Taiwan donated a van to a home for young children and infants with disabilities in Taichung. That act of charity started a long-term relationship between the home and the business. Since then, all 180 company employees, from the boss to the receptionist, take turns to volunteer during their work hours at the home. The program has been a great success. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the children at the Taichung baby's home are awake. Ling Yijia, who works at a water purification company, helps give the disabled infants physiotherapy. Today, she is both working and volunteering.
At first, because I hadn't been here before, I was a little nervous. But at the home, when I saw them, I was very touched. So now I'm happy to come.
Ling Yijia's boss, Yang Zhongxiang, is known as daddy to all the children at the home. The company president says volunteering for the infants is more satisfying than sealing $1 million deal.
When we are feeding them and they bite the spoon, we get nervous and don't know what to do. But after a while, you get used to it. I set myself goals. This time, I'm going to feed 1. The next time 2, then 3. Last time I fed 4 and felt a great sense of achievement, which was better than anything.
All 180 or more staff at the water purification company in central Taiwan take turns to volunteer at the home for infants with special needs. Company president Yang Zhongxiang even pays Li Meina to work here full-time. Li says she's the luckiest employee on the payroll.
I'd always wanted to use my abilities to serve society and help out my family too. In this job, I can do both.
The employee volunteering program started 18 months ago when Yang Zhongxiang promised to devote his time and money to care for disadvantaged children.
It's rare for some people to keep coming to care for the children here. Their service for a year and a half has given the children a sense of security and stability, which has been a great help.
Yang Zhongxiang does not deny that he had to twist his employees' arms at first, but now they give up their free time and bring their friends and relatives to volunteer at the home. Yang says the rewards of corporate volunteering make the investment well worthwhile. At the end of the show, we go to Taipei, Taiwan to join students in a Tzu Chi Collegiate Youth Camp, which took an excursion to the Leshen Sanatorium. In addition to helping tidy up the home, students were much inspired by stories told by leprosy sufferers of their personal struggles and their extraordinary courage for life. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching Dire Headlines. Goodbye.